So good evening, everybody who's attending. I want to welcome you to today's webinar. I'm Erin McCartney. I'm the Association Services Manager for GAPNA. So I'm going to be moderating this session along with Megan Cash. Megan is our membership coordinator, and she's going to be engaging with you in the chat. So we're thrilled to have everybody here today. If you are interested in participating in the prize drawing, could you please put your name in the chat along with your chapter right now? Megan's going to give you a little example of what that's supposed to look like. If you are not part of a chapter, you can just write no chapter. That's going to be your attendance record to make sure that we are counting everybody who is here. It's the fairest way for us to do it. So if you could do that now. Megan, could you do me a favor and open up that QR code for the polling?
There. 1 second.
All right, so the chat is now open for everybody. It should be open for everyone. Let me know if that's working for you guys. Okay, so you can scan your polling right now. While you're doing that, I want to remind everybody that we have our pharmacology conference coming up. There's 3 days left for the early bird registration rate. Megan can share a link in the chat for you guys. We are working on that right now. I see a couple people saying that the chat's disabled, so we're going to work on that for you. So don't miss your opportunity to get a discounted rate when registering for the early bird. And I'm going to transition over to George so that you guys have plenty of time to talk. So George, take it away.
Super. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this happy hour. Before we get started, I would like, just everyone to raise, I would like to have a toast. I want to toast to the success of this happy hour, as well as toast to GAPNA and our members. So how the night's going to go, I just want to talk about where we are at GAPNA for just a little bit. It's not going to be a long dissertation, just a few words, kind of update the members where we are, talk about the future of GAPNA campaign. You might also hear it as the future of gerontological nursing campaign. Talk a little bit about that, and then talk about some of the initiatives that we're going to be implementing around that idea. So for right now, many of you may have heard during the conference, as well as seeing, newsletter places, that we have a DEI, or diversity, inclusion, and equity, as well as belonging. We added belonging to a task force. I just want you to know that the task force has ended its review and is planning to present their final report to the board on March. The board in December approved a membership task force. As everyone may know, or many of you may know, I'm really focused on membership, and I really think that the number of members we have is so small compared to the number of us out there working in advanced practice nursing, working with older adults. And so I really want to focus on membership. And so the task force will be doing that, finding ways to make us more visible with different providers, clinicians, opening wider our tent so that we make sure that we are meeting the needs of our members in terms of recruitment, as well as keeping members. So that's kind of the charge of the task force. We have a chair of the task force right now, and we're also now looking for any interested members. Just text me. We're going to limit it to a very small group of individuals, but if it's a passion of yours, thinking about membership, I would love to hear from you. You can email me if Megan could give my email in the chat box. I'd appreciate it. And my Gmail email. And then so the in line with that focus on membership, we are doing the Future of GAPNA campaign. And it's really a social media campaign, but it's a social media campaign to extend our reach and to extend our visibility to those of us, again, working with older adults as advanced practice providers, clinicians, nurses. And the idea is to really focus on our members, what they're doing, their research, their clinical practice. We're also focusing on our chapters, our SIGs, and try to highlight them. And one of the ways we're going to highlight them, you probably noticed in the membership exchange, it's changed, but also related to that, an announcement went out. It might even went out to your email that we're moving away from the newsletter, going to the blast. It's called the GAPNA blast. And in that blast, we want to focus on you. And part of that blast is going to be driving that media presence, right? And so we want to focus on members, their research, their clinical practice, what they're working on, wards. We also want to recognize our committees, our SIGs and task force as well, and try to just highlight so that we can really tell our story out there and get our story out there to really reach those who are part of us. We Are Your People kind of campaign was kind of another kind of focus of that. And so in that focus, the idea is that if you provide us content, if you provide us your research ideas and things like that, or research projects and quality improvement projects, really short synopsis, we can picture whatever, we can share it on the blast, and then the blast that can be picked up and through our various social media campaigns. I don't know if you're on any of the social media. I'm not a big social media. LinkedIn's about the one I do. I do family with Facebook, but our presence on LinkedIn is quite evident through our social media part of our organization. And so let's see, the next thing about that, the next initiative around kind of the same idea is to have our next chapter alert be around nominate a member. And more information is going to come out about that. It's around really elevating our chapters and those of you who may not belong to chapter, but who are leading out there, leading internally to the organization or association, and leading externally outside the organization or association. And then another initiative that's in line with this future nursing campaign, as well as, future GAPNA campaign, as well as the membership, is the Thrive for 5 membership drive. Erin and Megan will go over that a little bit more, but in a synopsis, starting today, starting this evening, running through April 4th, any member who recruits at least 5 members will be entered into a drawing for a free annual conference registration. Our conferences are great. They're wonderful. That's a great place to get engaged and meet people of like mind and like interest. Any member who recruits at least 3 members will also be entered into another drawing, a different drawing, to win a free certification review bundle. And then any member who recruits at least 1 member will be entered into a drawing to earn free contact hours in GAPNA online library. So anyone attending today, an email probably going out tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, related to a, what's it called? We're calling it a member recruitment kit. It includes social media, already crafted social media, pictures, graphics, email templates that you can use to recruit members. All of us know colleagues who are not members, but would be very valuable, not only to the association, but the association could provide value to them as well. And I think that's all I really wanted to present at this time. I think, first of all, the idea of the happy hour, I've seen it with other organizations in a virtual happy hour. I don't know if happy hour was the right thing, but I do want to start off a forum by having an open question. But is there anybody that came here tonight that may have an open issue, would like to ask about around GAPNA? I have some set questions, but if members would like to ask the question, I would love for that to occur. This is an open dialogue. Are we gonna raise our hands, Aaron and stuff? Yeah, so raise your hand. Megan will keep up with who's first, who's second, who's third. We'll have an open discussion, and things like that. So if there's a question anyone has, I'll give you a couple of minutes to ask that question. If not, I can ask my open question. And hi, by the way, my name is George. I'm George Peraza Smith. I'm the president of GAPNA. Welcome to this happy hour. I should have said that initially, right? Here's my card.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Hi, Tracy. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, hi. So my question was, and I'm glad we brought up social media. I am the president of the Del Val chapter, and I often wanted to post something on Instagram or about our chapter, but I wasn't quite sure about what our limitations were about that. So like I know we post our meetings on ENP, but there have been times I thought, well, maybe if I can post it on Instagram or Facebook, that would be helpful. So are we, able to do that?
I can answer that for you. Just a clarifying question. Are you talking about posting your chapter meeting on the national office LinkedIn or social media, or are you talking about your chapter social media accounts?
My chapter.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Our chapter meetings, I thought it would be nice to post those on social media.
Sure. So according to GAPNA's policy, chapters are allowed to have their own social media accounts where they can post anything that they want. Obviously, we would like to follow, some kind of social media restrictions. I can share GAPNA's policy with the chapter presidents if you're interested in that.
Sure.
Just you can kind of come up with your own policies around that. But yes, GAPNA chapters are allowed to have their own social media accounts where they can post their information.
And to further clarify, because I don't even think we actually have, this is something we're going to have to work on, our chapter site or Instagram. To further clarify, are we allowed to post on, like, say, my own personal LinkedIn or Instagram? Are there any? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, in
Thank
fact, we do have a couple of resources like our share kits. You may see them in the GAPNA exchange. You can take some of those posts that the national office creates and some of the graphics and share on your own personal social media accounts. It's actually very helpful. So I would encourage all of you to do that.
And I'd
Awesome.
also
Thanks.
just recommend to use the hashtags, so that related to GAPNA, so that it also makes it onto the GAPNA social, and then
Yes,
extends
thank
your
you.
reach. So the emphasis of this idea of this happy hour was to form another way that we can connect. We connect in our committees and the work that we do as volunteers. We connect at the conferences, but not everyone can make it to the conference. And there's 6 months between one conference to the other is a long time, and not all of us go to both conferences. Some of us go to one, some of us go to the other. So I wanted to create a platform, and hopefully we can keep this going if it meets the members' needs. And just have conversation, to have ask, like Tracy did, ask about, and thank you, Tracy, asking questions about GAPNA and headquarters and how we can better support you. Things like that, to keep kind of an open forum, but also more of a conversation of the current environment that we're in. Or I was thinking of something else. Converse about our current future of GAPNA, the future of gerontological advanced practice nursing as well. So, question I have, and if another question comes up, that's great.
We actually have Peg Urich. She raised her hand.
Please, Peg. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Peg. Thank you.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Hi. I can hear you. Yes.
Terrific. I'm wondering if there's any thoughts about attending committees. So I'm the chair of the PAC and long-term care, and you know, the attendance is low, and I didn't know if there's, any thoughts, thinking about, what to do to make that better.
Yeah, so this is my thoughts, and I'm just to get the conversation going. If others have ideas, an idea I have, and I was president of the Florida Nurses Association, and that we have the same thing. We have people volunteer, but they don't come. Or so committees and SIGs are supposed to be for the members, right? To meet members' needs, and if they're not coming, well, we're not meeting their needs, or there's some disconnect. And I think in our social digital world today, we've got to think of better ways, different ways to conduct business, if you will, different way. Like why can't we use Instagram or some other social platform, or even the exchange? Instead of having a meeting, have a virtual, ongoing kind of meeting that could include both live as well as asynchronized kind of things. So I think one of the solutions, and I'm hoping that the membership task force can take some of this on, because to think of ideas, because they're just going to generate ideas, is that what are some different ways that we can meet now? Because our younger generations, younger than my generation, are more socially connected in the digital environment versus meeting in person. I think there's still value of meeting in person. I think there's still value for those of us who want to engage in so many different ways. But I think, what do our members need, and how can we better get to them? Because a lot of people can't attend a meeting because they're either teaching, they're in clinic, they're conducting their research. It's at different hours. We live on the West Coast. We're kind of an East Coast kind of swaying organization, so that things can just, maybe you're not able to kind of go to meetings and participate in a meeting, but I could participate in an asynchronized or a discussion, or I'm even thinking like a Google Groups kind of environment thing too. So I'm kind of trying to think of different ways to meet and to engage, not even necessarily to meet, but to engage. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still okay. So I thought I was muted again. I don't, not really, but I do like that asynchronous thought and the idea of using the technology, because I'm sure what our hope is. I love the idea of getting younger people involved, and I'm so excited because we just hired in my practice a 30-year-old. Oh my God, like, who's a nurse practitioner, and she's gonna be working with me, which I'm so excited about. Like, how can we get people interested in long-term care and the post-acute care? That's sort of a passion I feel like I'd like to do for my swan song.
Yes.
And I'm hoping GAPNA can be part of that too. So that's two ideas. But
Love
yeah,
it.
no, I didn't have I mean, I would send a lot of blasts out. I had Alice Bonner come. How could I have a better draw? No. And we did, more people attended, but yeah, I think we need to really consider other ways. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Even we had over 90 people register for this meeting. 65 have come, maybe more to join. 62, I'm sorry, 62 have joined. So maybe committees isn't the way to go. There is an interest out there, but maybe meeting every month. I know for the geriatric SIG, geriatric psych SIG, we went from monthly meetings to every other month, but there's risk there because people forget there's a meeting, or they don't know which month the meeting is on. So having monthly meetings was kind of a way of making sure people connected. But again, do members want to meet? That's the question I think we have to ask. And if they don't, but they want to, then how can we connect? What's the connection that we can have for them? There's a couple of, yeah, I can't hear you. There's a couple of hands still up.
Hello,
Tam-
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Tammy.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Tammy Arms, Carolina's chapter. Great to see everybody. So I like where this conversation is going because I agree there's a lot of interest, but we are all meeting out. We just don't have the time. My question is, if we go to an asynchronous style, if you will, on the exchange or what have you, is there a way to post videos rather than trying to type everything that you want to say? Doing a 3-minute video is going to be much easier. And I think that's where we're going as a nation with communication anyways. So I just want to know is that available?
I'll let Aaron answer, but I love this idea. I don't know if the platform will allow us to, you know, put the video as it shows like a video, and you click on the video with the carrot and it starts playing, or it has to be uploaded like a file, but Aaron can answer. Either way.
Yeah, it's going to be a file upload that you are able to do with the GAPNA exchange. We can record, Megan and I can work on recording some alternate ways for you guys to communicate on the GAPNA exchange. We do have some videos up there already, but if that's something you're interested in and it's such a great idea, yeah, we can definitely work on getting you some information around that.
So we could do like a Zoom recording and upload that?
Yep.
Or
Oh,
even an
perfect.
iPhone recording.
Yeah, an
Oh,
iPhone
there you
recording.
go.
Mhm.
Yeah, phone. I branded myself there.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Tammy. It's good to see you. I think we have one more name. Hi, Ann. Past President Ann.
Hi, my name's Lori Martin Plank. I'm in the
Hi, Lori.
Liberty chapter. Also, hi Ann, I saw that you were here. I just want to say I, fairly recently became a Psych NP, and so I was trying to join that Gero Psych thing, and I got to tell you, it was a heck of a thing. And I finally got on to one meeting. It was a few months ago, and Melody Harris was there. They were working on something. They were going to send it out. I never heard anything more, and I never heard from them again. So I was a little bit discouraged. But what I have had some success with as a Psych NP, a relatively new one, is I'm on a listserv that really, it was a spinoff from APNA that I belong to. And it was just something that, I saw and I was invited to. And we do a lot of just emailing on the listserv back and forth, but it's very active. And right now we've started for the newbies, once a month, they have a presentation of a case. So, maybe something like that. Just a suggestion. Thanks.
Absolutely. We've started kind of a journal club idea. It went really well, so I'm sure that's going to continue. But I could see instead of a research journal club, more of a case presentation. I love that idea because and having some rich experience, us seasoned individuals in there to make a rich experience for the newer new career individuals. I love that idea.
Thanks.
So something about hosting office hours. That kind of thing, I like that in terms of setting up, speaking with the presidents, maybe office hours for them, office hours for the treasurer to talk about the funds, office hours with the management teams. I kind of like that idea. Good thing we might want to explore that. Other thoughts? Melanie? Who else is next?
Oh,
Hi, Melanie.
can you hear me? This is
Yes,
Melody.
ma'am. We can hear
Hey,
you.
I
Hi.
just wanted to say, Lori, that I've been confused about the GeroSec meetings too. It's kind of like George said, we need to probably, get get back to something a little more regular, because it is hard to know. And then I practice really late on Thursday, so I can't always go. And I did volunteer for something, so I got to figure out what it was I've got to do. I think there's supposed to be a meeting coming up, so it's
There
just
is.
hard to follow sometimes.
Yes.
So I'm
I
sorry
agree.
it was your first time. You didn't have a good experience.
I agree. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Also, I mean, meetings don't have to be 60 minutes. They can be 30 minutes, 25 minutes. I think we tend to talk a lot, and you know, if you're at the end of the day and you just got home from practice and now you have to go to an hour meeting, sometimes that's not very attractive to some of us. I saw another hand up.
Hi, my name is Justin. I'm a family nurse
Justin.
practitioner and a member of the Great Lakes chapter. I am been active on the webinar chat, and I did post questions. However, it looks like it's not answered. I was wondering if you could answer those.
Sure, Justin. Hold on. Let me pull you up. I see.
Hi, Justin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have off the top of your head? Oh, here we go. I got your questions for you. Where do we send accomplishments of the members? You can send that to the national office at GAPNA, gapna.org. We do regularly run a members on the move for any members that are active in different areas, any awards that they've gotten, anything like that. We do post in our GAPNA bulletin, so you can send that to the national office anytime.
And some of the materials you're sending tomorrow will help guide that too, right?
Yes, absolutely. Another question you had asked is expanding on scholarship opportunities for members. So George, if you want to talk about that, but I can also say that a lot of the scholarships are offered through the chapter. So if any chapter presidents have any insight on scholarship opportunities, you know, that this would be your chance to chime in.
And also, the GAPNA has a foundation, but we're two separate organizations because of our tax signa. We have different tax. I was going to say tax brackets, but that's not the right word. Tax code, whatever it is. We can't also offer the scholarships and things like that, research grants, but we have a GAPNA foundation that can participate in that. And I know that there are some chapters that do offer those scholarships for their chapters, which is, I think that's appropriate. But maybe there's other ways that we could help communicate to the foundation specific needs that maybe chapters might have. The foundation, so in Florida, I'll give you my example. In Florida, we have the Florida Nurses Association that used to be broken down into districts, and the districts would, it's similar to chapters, the districts would raise money and then put that into the Florida Nurse Association or the Florida Nurses Foundation, which is a separate organization, but they're sisters. And that was another way. Maybe there's something we could do there around raising scholarship funds from a chapter, from a group of chapters that could be funneled and continuously funded through the foundation. Might be an idea too. Good idea. Other questions or thoughts?
Isaiah, you're up.
Hi there. I'm just wondering if there are specific resources or strategies for chapters that are large multi-state chapters and have very diverse demographics, not a lot of homogeneity there. If there's been success stories or ways to pull in members from all these different areas.
I don't want to name names, but I know Michelle's an expert around that area. We have, because I don't want to be the only one speaking. So, I mean, I think I have great ideas, but they may not be necessarily all great. I saw Ann on the line. I saw Sandra, you're on the line. You'll have recommendations, suggestions.
I'd also welcome you to attend our chapter leadership call. The chapter leadership calls are typically this night, first Wednesday of the month at 8 o'clock. That's when all of the chapter presidents get together to discuss these ideas. But Michelle Mosi is raising her hand, so I'm going to give her the chance to talk because she's our chapter leadership chair.
Thank you, Michelle. Welcome.
Great, Kate. I am really sorry. I missed the question that the individual was posting. Can you repeat it again?
We're finding it on the chat. Just a second. For Isaac, if you want to.
The question was about large demographic areas like Pennsylvania, where they have diverse populations and large areas for chapters. What is the best way to connect with everybody, and how to reach out to everyone? And Isaiah, if you wanted to come back on and speak, just let me know.
How to better create those connections and
Yes.
engage.
So one of the things that we're actually trying to do that right now here in Michigan in the Mitten, we are actually, because we have a fair amount of people on the west side of the state that we recently reached out to, and we're going to have an educational meeting tomorrow. I'm actually here on the west side of the state to help represent that. And what we have found is that you really truly have to find a champion also on that side of the state, right? That'll help carry your message too. That's really important because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. So it's connecting with, if connecting with someone else that wants to feel that engagement and wants to connect with those individual will help do it. As George said, Florida's a really big state too, and California is a big state. You really have to find other individuals that want to do this too. And another way that you might be able to do it too is finding out too with the nurse practitioners what other organizations they belong to, and bringing those people also together, right? Because you have a common focus, right? We're all here to take care of patients and do the best that we can, and you can also learn from each other too. So maybe just not saying, you have to be a GAPNA member. Why don't you try, getting everybody together and discuss what's working well and have this camaraderie, and maybe that's how you can build it.
Exactly. I just want to add, there are members across the nation that are not part of a chapter, and maybe this is a way, utilizing this virtual meeting. I don't want to call it a meeting. This virtual meetup is a way to connect with all of us, chapter members, as well as people who don't belong to a specific chapter. Do we have other thoughts to be shared? Past President Ann.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Ann.
Great meeting, George. And oh, excuse me. I think this seems like a small thing, but I think it's really important. And I think like Michigan, Pennsylvania uses the EMP a lot. We have over 400 people who are on our EMP, not all members, but we do have, when we have a pharmaceutical dinner or an educational thing, we have people who want to engage. And of course, we do try to get them to join. But I think it's important to let them know that they can attend a meeting without being a member, because sometimes people are a little put off that, oh, I'm not a member, so I can't. So when I sent out an invitation for this meeting, and also for the pharmacology conference, which I posted on our EMP and also at my school, and also on I have a couple of groups on Facebook. So, you know, I think it's important to let people know that they don't have to be a member to attend. And that's how I became involved. I was not a member, but someone that I worked with invited me. And then I fell in love with it because I was really becoming a gerontological nurse practitioner. I was family, but and I decided I liked older adults better. But so that's just a small point that maybe sometimes I think we forget to invite the non-members. I think that's important. And I had another thought and I lost it. And that's what happens when you get older. Oh, yes, it came back. So as I'm still teaching, and as I teach nurse practitioner students, and I just finished, I teach clinicals, but you know, I don't physically go, but my students are all across the United States. When I talk to preceptors who precept our nurse practitioner students, I usually ask them if they're a member of GAPNA. And surprisingly, there are a lot of gerontological nurse practitioners or family nurse practitioners working in long-term care who have never heard of GAPNA. Why, I don't know, but that's such a great segue to talk about GAPNA with them. So, you know, if you teach, keep in mind your preceptors. I love your cat tail is kind of going. It's like an exclamation point. So that was just another thought. Remember to invite your preceptors. And, you know, the university I work with is very, dare I say, liberal, but they let me send out invites. And so I do have the freedom to invite students to, right now, I only have, I don't know, 35 students. At one point I had 75. So it varies depending on how much work I want to do. But I do have the option of sending invites out to my students. And, you know, so students come out, but they're busy. So it's just a thought.
Thank you, Ann.
You're
I
welcome.
think Amy has her hand up. Hi, Amy. You're still
Hi.
on mute.
It's Amy. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I don't know how to articulate this, or I hope it doesn't, you know, I don't have much of a filter, but you know, the journal that we would get, I find a lot of times, you know, maybe that should be called the International Journal of Geriatric Nursing. I don't find it very useful. I hate to say that. And then I see a lot of the authors are, you know, physicians, and I'm like, you know, it doesn't it's not relevant for me. I don't know if so I don't know if that would be a way of, you know, not to have a journal because that's a lot of work, but some way to attract people, and or maybe a YouTube channel. You know, I don't know if that's a way to go, and you know, let them have their advertising there so you don't have to pay a lot. If you were to have one, and put out maybe if you're going to put out a flash type of notice, or you know what you're saying, with notes about what's coming up, and say, you know, check this out, or on YouTube. And if someone has a short blurb, or you know, or find a provocative fact, like, you know, I'm not going to talk politics now, but you know, there are things going on in the world now, and it's going to have an impact on us. And maybe having a, you know, where can we make more of an impact, and also as a psych nurse, as a med surg nurse, you know, whatever your field is in geriatrics, that we're going to have more of a public health focus. And but you know, I'm not, those are big goals, but how to operationalize it or do it in little baby steps, is something to get people interested. That's all.
And I'd share some of your views around the Geriatric Nursing Journal. There are, by the way, 2 associate editor positions that are that were posted by Dr. Posey, I guess today, maybe yesterday or today, I think. That's, as associate editors and editors of a journal, that's a way to influence the direction of a journal. Because I mean, I share some of those same views, who is the journal really targeting and targeted for? And we're one member association group that has that as their journal. There's several others. While you're thinking of questions, if anyone could help me with a question that I have, and that is, I think virtual is here. It's not a future, it's here. What formats or what ideas does anyone might have or suggest in how we can utilize this kind of platform where there's no real agenda per se? It's not a committee, it's not a meeting, but that we connect and we come to a room. I was thinking of this would be a great, like that example of the case study. I forget who said, but bring the case study and we all join and have it presented, and then have a discussions around it. I mean, that's one way to use this kind of format to connect us. I'm also interested in more informal ways of this kind of using to connect, like lunchbox, like where we used to have box lunch meetings during lunchtime where somebody came and presented something. That might be another avenue we could utilize this for, with a short presentation and then discussion and interaction might be another way. But I would be interested if there are other ideas or other questions that you as the members have.
Hi, everybody. It's Tammy again.
Hi, Tammy.
I was trying to type this, but it's just too much. So, with what you were just saying, George, I really like the idea. And the thought that came to my mind is if we could invite nurse practitioner students from, gerontological NP programs across the nation, and possibly, either have them present a case study and then we discuss it as colleagues, or we present a case study that they can be part of. Or I was just trying to think of a way to connect with the students, because that's our future members.
Right. I like it. Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I just wanted to just agree with the like the lunch and learn, or the dinner with that they had spoke about earlier. I think those are great to connect with one another, because everyone has to eat and everyone should take a lunch. And so I think those are perfect times
Yes.
to get together. And then mentorship. I think a great way to bring in our young people is through mentorship. So I'm not sure if we have a mentorship program, but those are very effective ways as well to increase membership.
Super. Thank you. Thank you, Dana.
Hi, this is LaDonna Garing at the Texas GAPNA membership. I do academia and also clinical practice, but we have noticed that feedback from students has been that the membership fees are very expensive for them when they're going through schools. It has been an obstacle, and
your mic went muted. There you go.
okay. I don't know how much of you heard from that, but the feedback is that students have really enjoyed going to the meetings, but the fees were expensive. And we realize that. I mean, students are going through school, and that has increased, especially since COVID, that we have seen that feedback from students. So we recently voted at a leadership meeting to offer scholarships after they have attended so many meetings, that we would reimburse half of their fees. So, just to start, because what we have found is that our new recent board members for our leadership are the ones that are coming consistently, are the ones that have recently graduated. They continue to be preceptors. They're vital members, and that, it's worth that scholarship money that we give them in reimbursement for students. They're involved in the leadership program here at a national level, committees. It's well worth that money that we're giving them in scholarship fees back to reimburse them for their student membership. So we have recently, we won't know, we're going to track it and see what happened. We just recently voted to do that. But that's one thing that our Texas chapter has voted to do, that because we've consistently seen that we've gotten that feedback from students.
Thank you, LaDonna.
We'll track it. We'll let you know how many students we get post that, but we just have really seen that they're valuable to our organization.
Thank you. Hi, Sandra.
Hello.
I would have been very disappointed if you didn't speak.
Okay, and I think we had talked about this sometime, George, that we had done, it was a pharmaceutical type dinner, and there was a link that you could then order a meal from what you could choose from a variety of, like, meals with an Uber Eats delivery, and then everyone would have their meal delivered at, if your meeting is at 8 o'clock, sorry, maybe you just order cheesecake or something. But then that would, because before COVID, all of our chapter meetings were around pharmaceutical dinners. But as we've grown geographically, that, seems, just not really doable on, has anyone reached out to tried this on a chapter level with the pharmaceutical companies? They would still have an opportunity to do their spiel, and then we could have a meeting also and connect.
Great idea. Again, thinking outside the box, trying to offer connection in new and different ways. I love that idea. So I see Michelle, you want to add to that comment?
Yes, actually, Apara did that one time for the Liberty chapter a few years ago, and it's crazy that you mentioned that. And I'm not sure how many people joined on, but the pharmaceutical company was happy to do that, and we've actually explored that at the Great Lakes chapter. Is that something that we should try to do too? We're very lucky that in Southeast Michigan, we usually have most people want to come to a dinner education meeting. So we leave it open only for members only. I just want to let everybody know until a few days before. And if there's any tickets left open, then we open it up to non-members, because we've had it happen where we've opened it up to both and our members can't get in. So we've had to learn how to adjust. But yeah, I think that's a lovely idea to do that.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. We still have a few announcements to make, but I just want to kind of wrap up this conversation. Another thought I had around using virtual meetups or, some type of virtual connection is we could consider, smaller groups so more people can participate at one time. Could be a topic that we could publish and a month or so out, and people who are interested in that topic would come, and maybe we could have a more connective and engaging kind of conversation, because I think that's where you get the connection from, right? You hear each other's experiences, and you and you can empathize sometimes, and you can provide guidance and mentorship. I love that idea of mentorship. So I do want to honor this hour-long meeting, and I know I had suggested earlier that we maybe consider shorter meetings as I had scheduled an hour long, but it's a happy hour. It's not a happy half hour, right? But I really, I think the number of individuals who made it tonight speaks to the importance that we all kind of come together and connect. I don't know, I just saw it flash real quickly, but I agree, maybe kind of utilize some of those breakout rooms and break groups so that people can have conversations. We do that on the NOF program directors network every week. We break off into like groups of 5, and that way they're more interactive and engaging. So that could be an option as well. But this was a kickoff. This was some to gauge interest, and I feel like there is an interest. There is the GAPNA Future Forward Happy Hour poll that's up, and it's still up. Please answer 1 and 2. I'm specifically interested in number 2, but please fill out the poll, and I'd greatly appreciate it. So thank you again for coming. I think it's just awesome. I'm going to turn it back over to Erin and Megan. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate this. I just want to reiterate what George said. This was a trial run. There's definitely a need. We had 130 people register for this webinar, and we had a little over 60 attending tonight. So this was great. Just as a final wrap up, I'm going to read some announcements for you guys before we close out the day. If you haven't entered your full name and chapter or no chapter in the chat, please do so now. That's how we're tracking attendance for those prizes that we were advertising. So we want to make sure that everybody who is on this webinar is eligible to win one of those prizes. Megan is just going to provide you information in the chat if you need that. George was mentioning our Strive for 5 campaign. Strive for 5 is our membership drive that's coming up. It's launching now today through April 4th. You may have gotten an email. If you haven't gotten it yet, you're getting it soon. It's going to be a resource kit for you that has social media graphics, messaging, emails to reach out to different people to try to get as many members as we can for GAPNA. So you will get that. It's also going to be on our website. Look for that. If you recruit over 5 people, you're going to be entered into a drawing to win a free conference registration. So that's very exciting. So look for that from us. And then the final reminder that we have tonight is the early bird registration deadline for our pharmacology conference is 3 days away. It's on February 8th. Share with your friends, share with your colleagues, register and support GAPNA. We do have on-demand registration. If you can't come to Nashville to hang out with me, you can register on demand. So that's all I have. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.